Welcome back. All right, I wrote first career shutout on this board after the second period. I updated the records on this board after the second period. The Vancouver Canucks got back to 500. They had overtime wins over San Jose, Montreal, Arizona, and those are teams that are residing outside the playoffs. Two of those three well outside the playoffs. And here comes a good Minnesota team that reminds us, that hard work and all that. So it was Gustafsson versus Martin. The Canucks do not start on time. It was a good jump for them in the I'd say first shift maybe. So I kind of actually thought about erasing that, and I thought, nah, I'll leave it up there. The shots were one apiece on net at 3 minutes, but you could see the momentum was swinging in favor of the Minnesota Wild. Greenway's tonight on a net drive. Martin covers an Eriksson Ek chance. Shaw has a shot that's held. There's some pushing. The shots are 4-1 now for the Wild at 4.5 minutes. More pushing at 9 minutes. These teams don't like each other. I think the problem for the Canucks is that they've lost now 7 in a row against Minnesota. And so, yeah, that probably ticked me off too. They can't beat them. So, the Wild controlling play. Martin was solid through most of this game. The Canucks pressed. They're kept to the outside. The Wild misfired on a 3-on-1. Kaprizov's point streak, it came to an end tonight. But he had his opportunities. He'll start a new point streak next game is my guess. Then we get Hughes has a shot that deflects wide. The Wild rush. There's a power play for Minnesota. It was too many men on the ice for Vancouver. Even with 6 guys, they couldn't get a goal. Goudreau's denied. There's a shorthanded pass to Besser that misses at center, and that was one of the storylines in that first period. Vancouver not getting very many opportunities. Brodin has a shot deflect wide. It's killed off. The Canucks would then press. Pettersson had a rush chance that was saved. Boldy's denied on a turnover with 3:25 left. The Wild go back to the power play, and they score on this one. It's Boldy from Zuccarello and Addison at 16:43, buries the rebound, and then the Wild press for another. Höglander has a shot that's held. It was only the 4th shot, and it was the final shot of the first period for Vancouver. 12 shots for the Wild. So the score is kind of flattering to Vancouver because it was a flat period for them. The shot attempts were more than 2-1 in favor of the Wild. There really wasn't a stat you could point to in this game and say, well, the Canucks are winning there. So you go to the second period. Foligno and Stillman had a fight right off the bat because of a hit by Stillman on Greenway, which Greenway felt was high. So did the rest of the Wild. And so they have a fight. It was pretty quick. Foligno beat up Stillman and then had to go get his hand fixed. I think he probably cut his hand a little bit. Miller has a shot that saved. Better start for the Canucks than finish to that first period. Kuzmenko has a wraparound that saved. Lazar fires one wide on a rush. The Canucks press, and the shots are 7-0 in 3.5 minutes. This is where things get interesting to me, and it's something with the Canucks that dates back to the 80s. So while they were wearing their Johnny Canuck throwback retros, I was thinking, this feels like the 80s. This feels like when the Canucks would fight, they couldn't score, they'd get a bunch of shots. I'd hear Tom Larscheid tell me they're buzzing. This felt a lot like that. Garland's denied all Canucks for the first 5 minutes. Hughes is denied. The Wild cleared out. The Canucks had the first 10 shots of the period, and then things start to even up a little bit. The Wild start pushing back at that 7-minute mark. Sam Walker, his first NHL game, misses wide. Has there been a guy named Walker that's played for the Texas Rangers? Because, man, that's a marketing opportunity that's right there. Anyways, Miller has a rush that's defended. The Wild cleared it out pretty quickly. Merrill boarded Amon. That led to the first power play for the Canucks. And you think, well, the Canucks have got to be mad about that. Not really. Miller has a rush that's defended. That power play's killed off. Eriksson Ek was robbed on a 2-on-0. Kuzmenko's denied on a net drive right after as the game's opening up. Besser has a blast that's held. Gustafsson absolutely dialed in. It's right there. He's dialed in. If he can see it, he's saving it. Canucks go back to the power play. That's killed off 2 shots. Then there were too many men on the ice for the Wild, so the Canucks go back to the power play. They're 3rd in a row in the second period, and they celebrate by allowing a shorthanded goal. The 4th shorthanded goal scored by the Minnesota Wild on the road this year, and it's Dewar that gets it at 16:08. So that one was fired on a fast break, and I put right there a backbreaker for the Canucks because they had momentum. They were getting chances, couldn't solve Gustafsson. Wasn't happening, and now we see them down 2-0. Wild then easily finished that kill, and that goal just absolutely sucked all the momentum out of the Canucks game. So we're going into the third, and I mean, Hockey Night in Canada, like, well, the Canucks could still come. I'm surprised they didn't come back. I'm not. It's a good thing I'm not on the panel. Because I'd be like, I'm not surprised. Are you kidding me? So the Canucks were line juggling, and I feel bad for Bruce because this isn't something that I think reflects on Bruce Boudreau at all. OEL has a shot that's blocked. The Canucks press at 4 minutes. No shots out of that. I don't even know who's going to watch this, to be honest, because I mean, Canuck fans, unless masochism, I don't know. And Minnesota fans are probably all in bed or out partying because 7 in a row over Vancouver. Joshua was a bright spot for Vancouver tonight. Dakota Joshua's been playing really well. I remember Canuck fans earlier in the season trying to bury him and he should be in the minors and why do we get him? He's been very good. And again, it might be just the effort and the size and the smarts on the ice make him stand out with the rest. Kaprizov, Zuccarello were denied as the Wild press. The shots are 2 apiece at 5 minutes. The clock was absolutely flying at that point, which really favors Minnesota, right? Myers has a shot blocked as the Canucks press. Not enough hitting the net. And the Wild were all patting each other on the back for the shot blocks. They came into this game with a game plan, and they executed it really well. They had lost 2 in a row. They have not lost 3 in a row all season. They don't do it tonight either. Walker fires one high on a fast break. This kid's going to get his first goal. I think they said he had 11 in the AHL. He's going to get it. Martin freezes it as the Wild were seeking insurance. And then they get it. During a press, it's steal from Zuccarello at 8:51. It was a backhander. It was a nice goal, but it's one that I felt like Martin, if they got a save there, a really big highlight reel save, who knows, but at any rate, the Canucks press with 8.5 minutes left. Gustafson's a wall. Really a big part of the difference tonight. Not to say that Martin didn't play well, but Gustafson was fantastic. I don't know how many of these shots were high danger for the Canucks either. There were a lot of shots. High danger is different than shots, obviously. I've seen the comments in the comment section. I'm aware. So OEL has a shot deflect out. Kaprizov had a rush chance that was saved. As Kaprizov's trying to keep his point streak going. I think it was at 14. So Miller has a shot held. Gustafson's racking up the saves at that point as well. Post then for Horvat. So Bo Horvat was this close to breaking up the shutout. I still didn't believe they were going to do that. And then Kaprizov had a net feed to Steele that's blocked. And that's the end of the notes. Yeah, so 3-0 is the score in favor of the Minnesota Wild. They go to 14-11-2 with the win. The Canucks 12-13-3 with the loss. And this backs up what I said after their their overtime victory over San Jose. I don't trust it. I don't trust them, and now they're back below 500. They cannot get above 500. So the shots in this one, 14-4 Minnesota in the first. So the fans really turned on this game at the end. The first period didn't help. The shots are 19-7 Vancouver in the second, and then the third, both teams had 12 shots. Vancouver outshoots Minnesota 35-33. Power plays, Minnesota 1 for 2. Penalty kill had been pretty good, but this is a good team, and now it's 1 for 2. Vancouver 0 for 3 on their power play. They did out-hit Minnesota 24-13. Gustafson saves all 35 for his first shutout, and Gustafson's been playing really well lately. And so while we don't have a goalie controversy in Minnesota, we're not far off from one. It reminds me of the situations we're seeing with a few teams around the league where the young backup is playing pretty well. Martin saved 29 out of 32. Great guy and a good goaltender, but tonight there just weren't any goals to back him up. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing right through you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.